and recording it as well.
Okay.
Okay. So hi everyone. Thank you for joining. How are you all today?
Yes, I'm very well, thank you. You?
Yes, all good here, thank you. How about you, Lucy?
Yes, not bad, thank you. I have to say, I do really miss being in the office and seeing you all.
Yeah, making a cup of tea isn't quite the same when you're doing it on your own and you've got no one else to make it for. Though I do get the right tea made for me now, not like it used to be.
That's always a positive, I have to say. That is true. I do really miss seeing everyone from different departments in the kitchen sort of making tea. It was a really good opportunity to catch up with everyone and find out what everyone was doing.
Yeah, it's really difficult to communicate with colleagues remotely, especially when they aren't in your own department.
Absolutely. Well, hopefully today's training session will be a good time for us to catch up and to see each other and to speak. So before we start, can I just check that you're all sitting comfortably, you've got no major distractions around you, and that you have a drink and any fruit or vegetable snacks that you need just to keep you fueled through the session?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I'm fine. I've got my water, so I'm making sure that I'm all hydrated.
Excellent. That's what I like to hear. Lovely. So the session shouldn't take any longer than 35 minutes. So we don't have any breaks scheduled in this meeting. But if you do want a break, you've got the chat function. So you can just let me know if you ever just need to step away for a second. So can I just check that you've got your training packs with your workbooks, your pictures, your sign, your feedback forms and everything?
Yep, everything's in there.
Yeah, got the lot, thank you.
Oh, excellent. Okay, great. So shall we start?
Yep.
Lovely. Great. So now, as you all know, I'm Lucy. I work as a HR consultant here at Spinnaker. So I've worked at Spinnaker for nearly 8 years now, and I've delivered numerous training sessions. So with London International Shipping Week just literally a month away, we as a department and a company wanted to organise this session to really cement your networking training and your techniques and to give you a little bit of a refresher, really. So a number of you stated on your learning and development forms that you would like extra training around this topic, and we thought this would be the right time to look at it. So as Charlotte mentioned, it's been quite a while since we've all got together, so I really wanted to take this time to sort of reintroduce ourselves. So could you tell us your name, your job title and your next networking event? So I'll go first. So I'm Lucy, I'm a HR consultant here at Spinnaker, and my next networking event is Women in Maritime during London International Shipping Week. Peter?
Hello, I'm Peter. I'm Head of Commercial Recruitment at Spinnaker, and my next networking event is a Maritime UK Chartering and Freight Trading Dinner.
That sounds exciting. That sounds like an event we'd all like to get an invitation to. That's great, Peter. So same question to you, Charlotte?
So I'm Charlotte. I'm a recruitment consultant for the technical division, and my next networking event is the same as Lucy's, so the Women in Maritime afternoon session.
Fantastic. So we know that London International Shipping Week is a really busy week for us, and some events you will have colleagues and other events it would just be you. So to start today's session, I really wanted to give you an overview of what we'll be looking at. So the main aim of the session is to provide you with the tools to become effective networkers. And to achieve that, we have 3 objectives. So the first objective is to develop your own personal introduction to use at your next networking event. Number 2 is to develop key behaviours to be successful at networking. And number 3 is to understand why networking is important and the benefits to yourself and also to the organisation. So to help achieve those objectives, we obviously have the 3 aims. So can I just check, obviously, you've got all your packs?
Yep.
Yep, got them. Thank you.
Fantastic, that's great. Okay. Before we go any further, first things first, we'll have a look at housekeeping and some ground rules for you. Because I know obviously we're used to being in the office for our training, but now we have it virtually, I thought it would be a really good opportunity just to cover that ground again. So first of all, your mobiles. I know you all have very important jobs, and having our mobiles next to us has become the new normal. But during this training, I would really ask you to refrain from looking, using, answering calls, even checking Facebook during the training. If anything urgent comes in, hope you've told your associate consultants that you're here and that they can deal with anything urgent for you in your short absence. Also, next will be your emails. Your associate consultants have access, and although you might think you're being subtle, I can see your eyes going to the right hand screen, so I would ask you just to turn Outlook off completely. And also as well, what's really important is to use your hand on Zoom. If you do have a question, that will alert me, then I can ask you. It'd be really important as well to respect each other. We're all colleagues and everyone has the right to speak, and you should respect that and listen. And also as well, should be no speaking over each other. When we're on this platform, it only picks up one person speaking at a time. So we're all learning, and it would be great if we could really listen to somebody, and then if we have any points, we can bring that up afterwards. And also as well, it's really important to say that no idea is a bad idea. So does anybody else have any other suggestions for ground rules?
Yeah. Could I ask that everyone keeps their cameras and microphones on during the call? I keep seeing those images of teachers online teaching to blank screens. And I think especially in network training, it's best if we can all see each other.
Absolutely, that's an excellent idea, Charlotte. So yes, please, everyone, keep your cameras and microphones on. So for our next section, in your packs I sent to you all, and in the pre-work, I asked you to pick an image from the image cards that best represents how you feel about networking. And I mentioned in the covering email that you'll be asked about why you've picked that picture. So, Charlotte, would you like to share your image and tell us what that says about your feelings around networking?
Yeah, so the card I picked was this one.
Okay.
Worry. So I picked the worry less card. I can get quite nervous when I'm attending a networking event. I like to stay with my colleagues and I like to let them introduce me to people. I think I lack confidence to go up to people and start a conversation. Others in my team also feel the same, so we tend to stick together.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, that's really interesting, Charlotte. Well, thank you so much for sharing. Peter, would you like to go?
Yep. It's a picture of balloons.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
a balloon picture. The reason I picked a photo of balloons, chartering and freight trading events are like parties, lots of drinking and eating. It's fun, but I think I struggle when to make actual connections, to end up speaking to someone I don't want to speak to. Yes, so I picked the balloons to represent the party atmosphere that go on at these network events.
absolutely. Okay, so that's both really interesting. Thank you so much for sharing. And I hope now we've got a really good idea of how we all feel about networking. And it's really interesting to see that we see it differently and it makes us feel different things as well. So obviously we will all need different techniques to be successful at networking. So to start the session, where I thought we would start is a discussion of what is the importance of networking. So this will be a brainstorming session. So I will collate your answers here on my mind map for you. So what I want to do is to give you a minute to work in pairs to discuss as many benefits to networking as you can in that time. Then I'll ask you individually to share your ideas. Does anyone have any questions?
No, I think we're okay.
Happy to get going.
Great, fantastic. So I'll just put a timer on my phone and we will start that minute now for you.
Right, so the benefits of networking, I would say expanding your own network.
Yeah, maybe. I think the main benefit is maybe getting a new jobbing. So I'm sort of like expanding the business.
Yeah, we'll put that down.
Yeah. Or maybe even finding new candidates as well.
Yes, I'll write that down as well.
Yeah.
So hi guys, just wanted to quickly check, how are you finding the task?
Yeah, fine. Yeah, it's what we can get out of networking. That's what's important.
Yeah, absolutely. So it might also be better to look maybe at the bigger picture. So could a benefit be something smaller that doesn't result in, I can see you put down there, sort of getting a job in and getting a new candidate?
Yeah, maybe.
Will gaining new information about the market be one?
Absolutely, that's a great point.
Yeah, not so much about what I can get out of it, but maybe what I can get from others of the organisation.
Yeah, so expanding our own networks, and if not our own, but others in the company.
Yeah, that's what I think. Yeah, go with that.
Fantastic. So you might have just heard that, your minute's over. So how did you find that?
It was a good task. Once I realised it wasn't just about what I get out of it, but it should be more about what other people can get out of it and how I can help people.
Absolutely. What we individually get out of networking is really important, but there are many other benefits out there. So Peter, what was one of your benefits?
Picking up new jobs.
Okay, we'll put that down. That's a great one. So as you say, somebody might be leaving a company and you might hear about it. So make a note to call that company in the morning to hopefully backfill that position. Or you might be lucky enough at that networking event to be speaking directly with the hiring manager. So Charlotte, do you have one?
Yeah, we thought gaining new information.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, that's a really good one. I once went to a networking event and somebody told me there was discussions about quite two large container companies merging, but not many people in the industry knew. So that was really good information to gain. So the next day I could speak to a few candidates that I had on my books who worked at those companies to get more information and to see if they were maybe then starting to look for new jobs. So that's great. Peter, do you have any more?
Well, possibly expanding your own and others' network.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great one. So you might meet somebody who's great for your own candidate network, but you might also leave a really good impression on the candidate decision maker who could benefit someone else in the organisation. Once you do that for somebody, they'll always keep you at the front of their mind when they're doing their own networking. So excellent. So before the training, I had my own thoughts as well about what could be one of the benefits of networking. So I got getting referrals. So hearing about other jobs in the industry and hearing about other people as well. Adding people to our marketing lists. As you know, we have changing course that goes out every month. So it's great to really keep our name at the top of people's inboxes. Also inviting them to our own networking events. So obviously we have the Dragon Boat race at the end of the London International Shipping Week. So that's always great to also get people involved. And also as well on this side is advertising what Spinner could do. So now we've discussed all that. So we've also got quite a few benefits down as well. So our first activity in your workbooks is to pick one benefit to focus on at our next networking event. So could I ask you all to spend 1 minute picking a benefit and write it down in your workbook so that you want to achieve from your next networking event. So your time starts now.
Yeah. 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 Okay.
Okay, excellent. So have we all got something written down?
Yes. I've picked expanding my own, but also a colleague's network.
absolutely. So I suppose you could do that by maybe getting another client, or maybe finding a candidate useful for yourself or others. That's brilliant. Charlotte?
Yeah, I look to be a little bit more like Peter and get a job, or at least a lead for a job for myself or someone else.
That's excellent. That really gives your networking a real purpose and keep you focused throughout the event as well, to make sure that you've achieved that benefit. So now we have our purpose. Next, we're going to look at how we can achieve that purpose. So there are 3 sections to networking, and it's not all just about being there. We have the preparing section, the attending, and then the follow-up. So on my next slide, so in this section, we have 2 employee case studies who have told us what they do during networking, and then we're going to compare them. So let's look at preparing. So employee 1 goes to networking event, where employee 2 checks the attendee list, checked the LinkedIn event, and has picked 2 people they wish to speak to. So what's the difference?
It seems like employee 2 has clearly done their research and they know what they want from the event.
Absolutely. You can see, or you can imagine employee 2 being really active in the event once they got there.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so let's see what each employee does when they attend. So employee 1 stays mainly with colleagues and is not listening to the topic, speaks to a few people but doesn't ask about them. Employee 2 finds one of the 2 people they want to speak to, discusses the topics of the networking event, and leaves with their business card.
Yeah, I mean, employer 1 is just taking the easy option here, aren't they?
Yeah, they're just staying in their comfort zone.
Absolutely. Okay, they're both really good points. So lastly, the last element of networking is the follow-up. So employee 1 goes to work the next day with no business cards and carries on with their day-to-day. Employee 2 goes to work with a new contact, adds them on LinkedIn, sends them a follow-up email, thank you for meeting them, and gets confirmation that they want to receive our monthly newsletter.
Wow, you can really just see the difference.
I mean, I have to say, I've been really guilty of not following up leads.
Yeah, I have to say, we all have, haven't we? When we get back to the office, there's always a mounting of emails and calls that we need to catch up on. And sometimes life just gets in the way. Okay, so now we've read both case studies. Who do we think is getting the best out of their networking experience?
Employee 2.
Yes, definitely employee 2.
Okay, excellent. So why do we think that? What behaviours was employee 2 demonstrating that employee 1 wasn't?
Well, confidence for one.
Yeah, was organised.
Yeah, they were approachable.
Yeah, that's great. And I got some similar ones too. So I got that they were a good listener, they had a positive attitude, they were comprehensive in their approach to networking. So at this point in the training, I wanted to go back to our icebreaker and what you said about your image, Peter. So what behaviour do you think you could work on to counter how you feel about networking?
Listening. I'm not just there to sell or there to gain information. Also, if I listen, I might be less of a party atmosphere.
Absolutely, definitely. And Charlotte, same question to you.
Yeah, I think for me, just confidence. Employee 2 was confident, but may not have felt confident, but because they had a purpose and they'd prepared beforehand, they therefore came across as confident.
Yeah, absolutely. That's perfect. Okay, so our next activity in our workbooks. Is to pick 2 behaviours that you wish to start or continue to do that you saw in employee 2. So if we all take a minute, we can write down 2 behaviours that we think that we can adopt from employee 2.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so we've got 20 seconds left. Excellent. So did we get everything written down?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect. Lovely. Okay, so now we have our purpose, and now we have two of our behaviours that we're going to take to our networking. What is our means to our end? So how are we going to get to that benefit? And that is through conversations. So one thing that employee one didn't have was a personal introduction. Introductions are the chance to give your best first impression to somebody, and they're invaluable when networking. But what happens if you have a great introduction but you can't close?
Well, you won't get the benefit like a business card or a job, something like that.
Absolutely. So you have to get a good close to achieve your purpose. So in your packs, you have a card. Now on one side it says open and on the other it says closed. So do you have them?
Yeah.
Yeah, got them. Thanks.
Great. Okay, so we're going to play a little quiz about open and closed questions. But firstly, can anybody tell me what an open question is?
Yeah, so a question that can't be answered with just a yes or no response.
That's correct. Excellent. Okay, so keeping that in mind, what is a closed question?
A question that can be answered with just a yes or a no.
Yes, that is correct. But just to keep in mind, it is also a question that can be answered with just a one-word answer. Okay, so how do we feel about that? Are we happy to give this quiz a go? Because what I'll do is I'll put a question up on the screen, and using your cards, you can show me if it's an open or a closed question.
Sounds good. I think we can do that, Charlotte.
Yeah, it depends if we get it right.
That is true. That is true. Okay, so. True. Okay, so. Question 1. What did you think of tonight's speakers? Yeah, excellent. That is an open question. So, Charlotte, why is it an open question?
Because you can't answer it with a yes or a no.
That's absolutely correct. Okay, you might have the hang of this. And then our next question, question 2. Who does your recruitment? Is it an open or a closed question? Oh, okay, so we've got a little bit of a difference of opinion here. So, Charlotte, what was your thinking behind the question being closed?
Well, the person could respond with just one word, like Spinnaker.
Okay, interesting. So, Peter, why do you think it's an open question?
Because you have to answer, and the answer just can't be a yes or a no. So I thought that's how it worked.
Well, in a way, yes, you are right. That is how it works. An open question cannot be answered with a yes or a no. But that doesn't mean that a closed question has to be answered with a yes or a no. It's just a one-word answer. So, for example, if I said, Peter, would you like a tea? How would you respond?
Yes, please.
Okay. And if I said, Peter, would you like a drink? How would you answer?
Yes, a cup of tea, please.
Okay, so can you see the difference? The first question was a closed question, and you could only respond with a yes or a no. The second question, you did only say, you could have just said a tea, but you just said you'd like a cup of tea, please. So I've given you an option there. So,
Yeah,
can you see the
yeah,
difference?
I understand that.
Yeah, okay. Well, we have a few more questions, so let's try the next one. Question 3, where do you work? Yeah, absolutely. That is a closed question. So, Peter, can you see why that's a closed question?
Yes, because I just can't respond with Spinnaker.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you wanted to make it an open question, how would you change it?
How do you think your current recruitment process could be improved?
Yeah, absolutely. So now that's an open question. So do you understand now?
Yeah, I think I get it now.
Okay, great. And then we'll just move on to question 5 for you. So question 5 for you. So how long have you worked at BP? Yeah, that's great. Excellent. That is a closed question. And then question 5. What do you think about the new carbon legislation? Yeah, absolutely. Perfect. And that's always an interesting topic we want to discuss at networking. That's great, guys. So how do you now feel about closed and open questions?
Yeah, I'm happy with using them.
Yeah, definitely happier now.
That's great. Excellent. So in your next activity and your last activity, so on your own for the next minute, I want you to write down an open question to use as your introduction and a closed question to conclude your conversations that you feel comfortable using. So remember, your open question is to build rapport and start a conversation, and your close is to help you achieve your purpose. So I'll just start that for a minute now for you. So Peter, just quickly, I just wanted to check that you're happy with your open and closed questions. It can be tricky sometimes when the questions aren't really straightforward. Even I had to double check a few.
Yeah, I understand. So an open question is to get people into dialogue, and a closed question is just to get particular information.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's really important as well to pick questions that you feel comfortable with, so you don't have to overcomplicate it at all. So I'll let you carry on. You've got about 30 seconds left. Okay, so how did you find that? Have you got everything down?
Yeah.
Yeah, fine, thank you.
Fantastic. Okay, lovely. Fantastic. Okay, lovely. So now in your workbooks, you should have your purpose that you will use at your next networking event from one of the benefits that we discussed. You'll have your two new or continued behaviours and your own personal open and closed questions to use at your next event. It would be always great as well. You can practice them on your colleagues or other people in the office just to make sure that they work for you before you go. So just to quickly revisit our aims and objectives. So our aim was to provide you with the tools to become effective networkers. And this is allowing you to develop your own personal introduction and close, develop your key behaviours, and helping you understand the wide ranges of benefits to networking. So how do you feel about those objectives now?
Yeah, I feel really good, thank you. I do feel like that now I have a real purpose and a good introduction to start conversations, where before I might have struggled with that.
Yeah, the same really. The personal close will help me secure information from other people.
And I think we both need to be better at follow up with people we've met.
Oh, certainly.
Excellent. Well, that's really great to hear. And I hope you've both got some really good takeaways to take away from today. So at the end of your workbook, you have a feedback form. So it would be really great if you could complete that straight after the networking training and send that over to us sort of immediately. It doesn't have to be glowing. You can give us pointers to make it better for next time for you. It's a really great way for us to improve your training for you in the company. Also, on the last page of your workbook, there is a follow-up activity. So as we're all going to be attending quite a few networking events in the near future, I want you to come back to work the next day and say which technique, purpose, behaviour and question you used at the event, and write some comments about how you felt about using them and how comfortable you felt using them. And then we can maybe use that for some further training and some knowledge that you might need going forward after this. So will you both be able to send that completed form to me and be able to copy in your line manager?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Great, that's really good news. Okay, and I really look forward to reading them. So are there any questions?
Yeah. Do you have any open questions that you like using?
Absolutely, that's a really good question. I do. So with networking, we're very lucky to have networking events in some really great locations. So I tend to ask about the building or the location that we're at to start with something not too business focused and to sort of really build a rapport initially with them, and hopefully we'll find something that we have in common.
So you can sort of change the questions depending on the event?
Yeah, of course. I think it keeps it interesting, especially during the London International Shipping Week. We're going to be going to a lot of events, so it would be good to keep it interesting. Mm-hmm. Excellent. So is there any other questions?
No, I'm good, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
No, that was it, thanks.
Excellent, that's great. So I really hope you enjoyed today's session, and if you want to take your learning a little further, I've added some great articles about networking at the end of the session for you to read at your leisure. I'll also send these links over to you in your follow-up email. So also, if you yourselves come across any great articles, please feel free to share them with the group. And I really hope you enjoyed today's session and that you took a lot from it.
Yes, I did. Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Great. Well, I'll let you carry on with your day. And if you have any questions in the meantime or before your next event, please don't hesitate to contact me. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.